السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله وحده، والصلاة والسلام على من لا نبي بعده، لا أمة بعد أمتي، لا كتاب بعد كتابي، لا شريعة بعد شريعتي. أما بعد، فيقول ربنا جل وعلا في كتابه الكريم: لقد جاءكم رسول من أنفسكم عزيز عليه ما عنتم حريص عليكم بالمؤمنين رؤوف رحيم فإن تولوا فقل حسبي الله لا إله إلا هو عليه توكلت وهو رب العرش العظيم. We always begin with the praise of Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the most kind, the most merciful, the benevolent. We send peace, salutation, salawat upon Imam al-Anbiya, Sayyiduna Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Allahumma fasalli wa sallim wa barik ala Sayyidina Muhammad wa ala ali Sayyidina Muhammad wa barik wa sallim. My dear respected ulama, seniors, brothers, friends, sisters in Islam, and those who are listening via the different mediums and the different streams. Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has made the fundamentals and the principles of our deen 5. From these matters, the matter of shahada, the matter of iman, and the matter of testimony and faith in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala was a matter that was rendered obligatory from the outset and from the beginning of the mission of Nabi alayhi salatu wassalam. From these obligations, the matter of salah was a matter that was rendered obligatory at the time of Mi'raj and at the time when Nabi alayhi salatu wassalam ascended the heavens and was personally given salah. And by most accounts, almost all accounts of the advent of Mi'raj, this occurred in the early years in Makkah Mukarramah. The matter of zakah and its obligation was rendered obligatory very soon after arrival in Madinah Munawwarah. And it was very soon thereafter that Allah revealed the verses of the obligation of Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu kutiba alaykumus siyam, that fasting has been made obligatory upon you. Inside of the first 2 years after arrival to Madinah Munawwarah, 4 of the 5 fundamentals of our deen were already obligatory and principled and was documented as an obligation. The matter of Hajj was a matter which was much delayed. In the early years, the Battle of Badr took place, Uhud took place in the 3rd year, the Battle of Khandaq, and subsequently one battle after the other. Some 25 of these Nabi alayhi salam personally participated in. And eventually the conquest of Makkah came, where Allah revealed, Inna fatahna laka fathan mubina, that you are now, O Nabi, that Makkah is now conquered, and the entire cycle of the oppression that began in Makkah Mukarramah, that entire cycle had now to some degree become complete. When this matter occurred, and in one sense the entirety of Hijaz and the Arabian Peninsula was now conquered, Nabi alayhi salam then started instructing Sahaba to penetrate further out of the peripheries and the boundaries of Hijaz. They went up north. The Battle of Muta occurred. Sahaba were martyred. A very intense battle. Ja'far bin Abi Talib, Abdullah bin Rawaha, and these Sahaba, the leaders of the campaign, were martyred. In the 9th year, news had reached Nabi alayhi salam that potentially Hercules, Herakl, and the Byzantine Empire, the Roman Christian Empire, had set their sights on Hijaz, had set their sights to attack the Islamic Empire. Nabi alayhi salam instructed in the 9th year Sahaba to prepare themselves to what was going to be the most arduous and the most difficult journey to date. It was a campaign that there was great preparation for. It was a campaign that was intensive. It was by far the furthest distance on the boundaries of Tabuk, which lies in modern-day Jordan, almost on the periphery of it. Nabi alayhi salam instructed and went along with Sahaba. By the time they had reached Tabuk, Hercules and his army had already heard of this coming and had departed before the arrival of Nabi alayhi salam and Sahaba. Nabi alayhi salam in this 9th year, along with Sahaba, they make the journey back from Tabuk. They come to Madinah Munawwara. And as they arrive in Medina, it was an amazing year, this 9th year of the migration and the 9th year of the Hijrah. Why was it amazing? The entire peninsula is now conquered. The Romans are fearful. The Persians, to some degree, have been neutralized on the borders of Hijaz. And all of the external and internal threats to Islam are now settled. And this presents an amazing historical opportunity, because for the years leading up to this, it was hardship, difficulty, zulm, oppression, conquest, settling, building the state in Medina. And this 9th year was a year with the doors of Hidayah and the doors of guidance were flung open. Prior to this, those that could not come into Medina because of various reasons, because of enemies, because of tribes who would not allow them to pass certain cross points, all of this is now neutralized. And Medina has now become the hub of an influx of people coming into Medina. And the scholars of history, the ulama, call this Amul Wufud, the years or the year of the delegations, where multitudes of delegations, people from far and wide, they are coming in. إِذَا جَاءَ نَصْرُ اللَّهِ وَالْفَتْحِ وَرَأَيْتَ النَّاسَ يَدْخُلُونَ فِي دِينِ اللَّهِ أَفْوَاجًا. This promise of Allah becomes true, that, O Nabi, you will see a time will come that people will come in their throngs, in their groups. They will come to Medina and they will come to accept Islam. When this verse was revealed, it was almost a theoretical impossibility under the circumstance. And Allah teaches us a lesson that circumstances of the current and the now, we should never become affected by that. The promises of Allah are true. وَكَانَ حَقًّا عَلَيْنَا نَصْرُ الْمُؤْمِنِينَ وَكَذَلِكَ نُنْجِي الْمُؤْمِنِينَ. The nusra of Allah, the salvation that Allah will give to this ummah, it is a reality. It is merely a matter of time when Allah's taqdeer, Allah's decree comes into being a reality. Nabi alayhi salatu wassalam is seeing these droves of people coming into Medina. From among these, I feel the necessity to mention it under the circumstance that many a group are coming into Medina. Every day, People are coming, they're entering into Medina, they're accepting Islam. On one day, one amazing visitor entered. In this very same year of the 9th year, one person enters Medina, he comes to the Masjid, he sits down by Nabi alayhi salam, and he narrates one amazing, unheard incident to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Imam Muslim narrates this narration. So when Nabi alayhi salam heard this incident, he announced and he told the Sahabi in charge of giving adhan. There were several muadhins. Bilal radiallahu anhu was one of them. And he said, announce and said, as-salat, say as-salatu jami'atun. They tell everyone to gather for salah. This was not out of the salah time, but neither was it the normal, usual time when salah would ordinarily take place. So people hear this announcement, and the Rawiya, the female narrator of this narration, Fatima bin Qais radiallahu anha, she's narrating this. And she's giving a first-hand account of what transpires. She says, I'm walking in the marketplace of Medina, and I hear this announcement at an extraordinary time that we should gather in the Masjid. So we gather I come to the Masjid, I hasten, I come to the Masjid, Nabi alayhi salam performs the salah. After we perform the salah, Nabi alayhi salam says, فَلْيَجْلِسْ كُلَّ وَاحِدٍ عَلَى مَكَانٍ. Every person just sit on their place and don't move from where you are. Do you know why I gathered you? Today I've gathered you for something which is not shay'ur rahmatin wala rahba. I've not gathered you to inform you about something motivating, neither about a warning of anything. Today, I had one man come and he's narrated to me an incident which I want to tell you. Ulama have written that from the entire corpus of the seerah and hadith narration, this is the only instant where Nabi alayhi salam is narrating a narration and an incident which transpired from another person. Ordinarily, people narrate from Nabi alayhi salam, that is hadith. Nabi alayhi salam is narrating what someone narrated to him, this individual. So he gets on the mimbar Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam, and he said, just before this, there's one man who came to me. And this man, he goes by the name Abu Ruqayya Tamim ibn Auf Ad-Dari radiyallahu anhu. He came to me before Salah and he told me about something. Nabi alayhi salam says, I'm about to tell you. He narrated to me an amazing incident. I'm paraphrasing the incident in the interest of time. So he told me that he and a group of some 30 of them, they have set out from a place and a tribe which was Banu Lakhtam or Banu Lakham, which is a tribe which is resident in Palestine and Palestine. Ulama have written, Allama Dhahabi rahimahullah, arguably the greatest biographer of our tradition and our deen. He has introduced this one single Sahabi, and he says from the entire biographies of individual narrators, this is almost some more than 500 to 600 years of hadith narrators. He says from all of these and all of the Sahaba whose biographies that I have compiled, there's only one single Sahabi that I have introduced as Palestiniyul Asal, that he has his origins in Palestine and Palestine. And who is that Sahabi? This very same Tamim Dari radiyallahu anhu. So Nabi alayhi salam is narrating his incident. He says, that this person, he came to me, he said that we had set out, when we heard about this message and you're coming in Medina, I had set out by boat with some 30 people on this boat. And we entered the ocean. We were traveling through the ocean from Palestine, intending to come to Hijaz. And somehow we went off course and we were lost. The wind carried us for some 30 days in the ocean. We didn't know where we were. We were just drifting as the wind took us until we came to one island. We saw land after 30 days. We got off the boat, and as we came to the island, we got off. Obviously, we're hesitant. We don't know where we are. And we start exploring the island until we come across one creature. This creature from the front and the back, لا يعرف, you cannot determine its front from its back. That is how much hair it was covered in. This creature is huge, it's big, we are intimidated, and it asks us, then who are you, where did you come from? So we explain that we are these people, we originated here, we got lost, that's how we landed up on this island. And we ask the creature that who are you? And it says to us, Ana al-Jassasa, that I am the beast. So we see this creature, it's communicating with us, it's talking to us, and it tells us that don't worry about who am I. Let me tell you, of your interest is that you carry on walking until you come to a monastery which is further into the island. Go to that monastery, and that person or that being that is in there is of greater interest to you. So we're looking at this beast, and he says that we thought rather let's leave this because our perception it might be a shaitan. By that he meant a fearful creature. Let us leave this, let's go into that monastery. So he said we left that, we went into this monastery. And as we entered, he said, رَأَيْنَا أَعْظَمُ إِنسَانٍ. We saw the biggest human being that you would ever see in your life. This creature, this being, it had shackles on its legs, iron shackles on its legs, and it was tied. Its arms were tied around its neck, and it looked at us. We became completely fearful, and it asked us that, who are you? We said that we are people, we came from here and we got lost. That's how we landed on this island. So he said, give me some information. He said, tell me about and give me information about Nakhal Baysan. Tell me about the orchard of Baysan. Baysan, the orchard of Baysan, lies towards just the border of Palestine and modern day Jordan. Today there is a big orchard there that is known as Nakhal Baysan. Just tell me about this orchard, that is it still bearing fruit? And it was a famous place. We said, as far as we know, that this is still bearing fruit. So he said, tell me about Buhayra Tabariya. Tell me about the Sea of Galilee, Buhayra Tabariya. Then what is the water level of this land-covered sea and ocean sea? So he said, as far as we are concerned, it is still filled with water. So the creature asked and said to them, then let me ask you, that what is the state of Ain Zuhar? It was a canal, a spring which was known as Zuhar. Now tell me about this, and what is the water level? Is it still, water still flowing there? He said, yes, based on our information. So he said, that tell me about Nabi al-Ummiyin, that last unlettered prophet that was meant to come there in Taiba, in Medina, that has he emerged, and what is the circumstance? We said he has emerged, people are following him, he is now successful, people are accepting his message. So he said to himself, and he said to them, that very soon a time will come that I will be released. Shall I tell you who am I? That Ana al-Masih. that I am the Dajjal, and I am the Dajjal that Allah will reveal. Nabi alayhi salam is standing on the mimbar in Medina. This is a narration of Sahih Muslim. He's standing in the mimbar of Medina and he tells Sahaba, did I not tell you? Did I not tell you hadihi tayba? Did I not tell you that every Nabi warned his ummah about the coming of Dajjal, the emergence of Dajjal? Tamim Dari radiallahu anhu, in this 9th year of Hijri, arguably gave Nabi alayhi salam, definitively gave Nabi alayhi salam a piece of information that was not transmitted by anyone prior to this. Tamim Dari radiallahu ta'ala anhu, Tamim Dari radiallahu anhu, just to end this, he was an amazing Sahabi. He was a person whom Nabi alayhi salam had an intense love. When he came with this group, I know it's not the topic of this evening, but I can't help that say something about Palestine in this discussion, because a Hajj will not be complete if our hearts are not attached to the circumstance there. Tamim Dari radiallahu anhu, when he came with this entourage of his, he brought some gifts with him. He brought wick, some rope, string, and he brought with him olive oil, and he brought a little shawl with him as gifts to Nabi alayhi salam. On that same Jumu'ah Friday, by most narrations, Nabi alayhi salam came for Maghrib Salah or towards the evening, and he entered the Masjid and he saw the Masjid it was lit up with lanterns around the entire Masjid. Nabi alayhi salam asked that, where did this come from? Because up till that point, Masjid al-Nabawi Sahaba would sometimes light the dry leaves of date palms, and maybe like that they would have light for some time, otherwise not. And he came in the Masjid, Rasulullah, and he sees the entire Masjid lit up. And he said, where did this come from? He said, oh Nabi of Allah, this is Tamim. Tamim Dari, the Palestinian Sahabi, he brought his slave Abu al-Barad, and he instructed him that he must put these lanterns around the entire Masjid. Nabi alayhi salam first called the slave, and he said, Abu al-Barad, from today your name is Siraj. Siraj, the lighter, the one who lights things, the lantern, Siraj and Munira. Then Nabi alayhi salam changed his name. He was designated as the first official lantern lighter. Call him the person in charge of the lights of the Masjid. He was the first person appointed to this. Then Nabi alayhi salam said to Tamim Dari radiallahu anhu that, oh Tamim, nawwarak Allah. May Allah give you more nur. This dua of Nabi alayhi salam had such an impact on him that from the Sahaba he was known for his piety and his taqwa. It is mentioned about him that when he would start Tahajjud Salah after Isha Salah, he would spend the entire night just repeating one ayah of the Quran in Tahajjud Salah. أَمْ حَسِبَ الَّذِينَ اجْتَرَحُوا السَّيِّئَاتِ أَنْ نَجْعَلَهُمْ كَالَّذِينَ آمَنُوا وَعَمِلُوا الصَّالِحَاتِ سَوَاءً مَحْيَاهُمْ وَمَمَاتُهُمْ. This ayah, the meaning of it would have such an impact on him that he would not even able to proceed further. That can you have people who do a'malus salihat, they bring iman, they do good deeds. Can you equate them like those who don't have faith? Sawa'an mahyahum wa mamatuhum. Can their lives be the same? Those who have iman and those who don't, can they ever live the same life? Can they ever die the same? Sa'a ma yahkumun. This is the worst, that anybody thinks that he will live in futility and he will die like a muttaqi and a mu'min. It is impossible. This ayah is to impact him so much that he could not venture past it. An entire night in Tahajjud just repeating this one ayah. Nabi alayhi salam said, Tamim, nawwarak Allah. Nawwarak Allah. May Allah bless you and may Allah give you nur in your dunya and your akhirah. He said, Ama innahu. Allama ibn Hajar rahimahullah, he narrates this narration from Imam al-Mustaghfiri, who was a great muhaddith. He said that, Ama innahu law kana ibnatan li lazawajtukaha. Tamim, if I had another daughter who was still unmarried, I would have given you in marriage to her, given her in marriage to you. I would have given her in marriage to you. Tamim Dari radiallahu anhu, Nabi Aslam didn't have any daughters. The cousin of Rasulullah was present. They say when you see opportunity, you must take it. Nabi Aslam's cousin was present. He said, "Oh Nabi of Allah, I have a daughter. Whatever you have desired for your daughter, I have done the same. I've given my daughter in marriage to Tamim." Imagine your son-in-law becoming the person whom Nabi alayhi salam chose or would have chosen to be his son-in-law. And then Nabi alayhi salam tells Tamim that Tamim tells Rasulullah radiallahu anhu, he said, "Oh Nabi of Allah, I know that Allah will give you victory in this world, that you are going to conquest, and Islam is going to conquer many lands in this world. I have one request. This lighting of the lanterns, the Masjid of Rasulullah, it was lit with the olive oil that came from Palestine. The first lanterns in Masjid al-Nabawi is lit with olive oil that came from Palestine. Have you ever thought and asked the question? Nabi alayhi salam said that if you can travel to Palestine, go to Masjid al-Aqsa and go and read 2 rakats of salah there, Allah will forgive your sins. And if you can't do that, then send olive oil there. Have we ever asked the question, why send olive oil to the land of olive oil? Why do that? We getting olive oil, the Ummah is getting olive oil from there, the most pristine, prestigious olive oil comes from there. This is reciprocal for this favor that Tamim Dari radiallahu anhu done to Masjid al-Nabawi, that Nabi alayhi salam left it on this Ummah that if you can't get there, then reciprocate this favor of Tamim to us. Tamim Dari radiallahu anhu tells Nabi alayhi salam that, "Oh Nabi of Allah, I know that you are going to conquer many lands, Islam will be victorious. And in this victory, when the time to conquer Palestine comes, then this area of Jerusalem that I originate from, O Nabi of Allah, write it for me and my family that it must come back to us. It must be written for us and be given to us." In the era of Sayyidina Umar radiallahu anhu, in the 15th or 16th year of Hijrah, when Palestine was conquered, and that area of Jerusalem and Baytul Muqaddas was conquered, Sayyidina Umar and Sahaba are now gathered, everything is settled, and Sayyidina Umar is about to depart. Tamim Dari comes to Sayyidina Umar radiallahu anhu, that, "Umar, do you remember, were you present there in the 9th year? That Nabi alayhi salam said that this portion of my family land will be given as a waqf and an endowment to my family?" Sayyidina Umar, without hesitating, said, "Tamim, I am a witness and present that Nabi alayhi salatu was salam, I was present there on that occasion when Nabi alayhi salam said that, Tamim, this will be written for you and your family." Sayyidina Umar designated this entire area of Jerusalem, a large portion of the area of Jerusalem, to the family of Tamim Dari radiallahu anhu. In any case, coming back to this 9th year of Hijri was known as the year of delegations, Amul Wufud. Many groups of people came to Nabi alayhi salatu wassalam. And in this year, the very verse of وَلِلَّهِ عَلَى النَّاسِ حِجُّ الْبَيْتِ مَنِ اسْتَطَاعَ إِلَيْهِ سَبِيلًا. The verse, after so many years, the obligation of Hajj is now revealed. That وَلِلَّهِ عَلَى النَّاسِ حِجُّ الْبَيْتِ. Look how amazing this is. See, when it came to the matter of Salah, how did injunction of Salah come? Aqimus Salah. You pray Salah, and the injunction is an instruction. It's an amar that you make Salah. Wa'atu zakah, you give zakah. When it came to fasting, kutiba alaykumus siyam. That's it. Fasting is obligatory on you. But when it came to Hajj, look how Allah structures the sentence of grammar. Don't ever be deceived by an English translation of the Quran. If that's the best we can do, well and good. But as they say, there is much that gets lost in translation. وَلِلَّهِ عَلَى النَّاسِ حِجُّ الْبَيْتِ. وَلِلَّهِ, that for Allah, the Hajj of the house is now obligatory on people. Look how Allah starts. Walillah, for people, for Allah. Why are you making Hajj? That's it. Walillah. The only reason that you will sacrifice wealth, your family, energy, effort, hardship is to go to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So this verse is now revealed. When this verse is revealed, this is the 9th year. Prior to that, the mushrikun of Makkah, the disbelievers of Makkah, are all making Hajj. Nabi alayhi salatu wassalam called Sayyidina Abu Bakr radiyallahu anhu that Abu Bakr, the Hajj season of this 9th year is coming, and I want you to go to the plains of Mina and Arafat and to go and announce there that this is the last year that mushrikeen can make Hajj. No disbelievers after this year are allowed to make Hajj anymore. So Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu is dispatched, and no sooner that he leaves, Sayyidina Ali radiallahu anhu, Nabi alayhi salam sends him as a deputy to Sayyidina Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu. No action of Nabi alayhi salam is done unintentionally. That lesson is a very clear one. What is Hajj? Where the entire Ummah is congregating. What is the message to be passed? That Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu innamal mushrikuna najas fala yaqrabul masjid al-harama ba'da amihim hada. Quran is explicit that Abu Bakr, this ayah, you go and communicate it on my behalf on the plains of Hajj and go and announce that innamal mushrikuna najas, that those who are mushrikeen, they are spiritually impure. فَلَا يَقْرَبُ الْمَسْجِدَ الْحَرَامِ بَعْدَ عَامِهِمْ هَذَا. After this year, they should not come for Hajj. Who's given this message? Abu Bakr al-Siddiq. What is the gravity of the message? That this is generational blockade, not just from the era of the Arabs, but from the time of Sayyidina Ibrahim, post that point, wherever the mushrikun historically started making Hajj traditionally, this is a generational stop and a message that is being given to who? Any message of importance is given to someone of the greatest representation. Who is that person? Sayyidina Abu Bakr. The lesson is clear that in less than 2 years, Nabi alayhi salam passes away. Who is representing in the Hajj? Who's representing this message? Abu Bakr. Who's following? Sayyidina Ali. And each of them understood this. He comes, Sayyidina Ali comes to Makkah, he comes to Hajj, and he follows the instruction of Sayyidina Abu Bakr. Wherever he's deputed to go and communicate this, he does so under the instruction of Sayyidina Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu. Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu, he comes back after Hajj along with Sayyidina Ali radiallahu anhu. And as they come to Madinah Munawwara, Nabi alayhi salam calls them for a report. Did you do what I instructed you to? The instruction is clear. That, O Nabi of Allah, we have done what we instructed us. That no mushrikun from next year. In the beginning of the 10th year, Nabi alayhi salam announces in Medina that in this 10th year, I intend to go for Hajj. Why? Because now the Baytullah, the Kaaba, is the essence of Tawheed and Allah's Wahdaniyah. It is now free from all shirk. It would be unbefitting that Nabi alayhi salam, the messenger of Tawheed, that he make Hajj along with the presence of mushrikeen. These two cannot fuse together. So Nabi alayhi salam in the beginning of the 10th year announces that now this year I will be going for Hajj. How many months before Hajj? In the beginning of the 10th year. This is almost 10 months before departing for Hajj. To plan your Hajj, to intend for Hajj, to prepare for Hajj. This is the sunnah of Nabi alayhi salam, and it is the sunnah of Sahaba radiallahu anhum, that we should plan. Be organized. Know that I'm going for Hajj next year, the following year. Be firm in this intention. Nabi alayhi salam announces this. And can you imagine what followed this announcement? When this announcement is made, the ulama of history and seerah write that Medina, the only talk on the tongue of every person was, have you heard Nabi alayhi salam is going for Hajj? Are you going? Men, women, children, people from the outside, they are coming in their droves to Medina. And people are coming, organizing, like sometimes we feel the burden, we have to go online, we got to do a booking, we got to do this, all the cumbersome administration. If we do it with the spirit of this preparation, it will become easy. So Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam announced to Sahaba that we're going for Hajj. And in these months that are leading up, the only preparation now is for Hajj. The month of Dhul Qa'dah arrives, and on the 24th of Dhul Qa'dah, literally almost at the time that we are today, in terms of the date, almost. Nabi alayhi salatu wassalam, it is a Friday, Jumu'ah khutbah. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam tells Sahaba in the Jumu'ah khutbah, Ya ayyuhan nas, inna Allah farada alaykum al-hajja fahujju. That Allah has made Hajj obligatory on you. You start preparing for Hajj. This is Jumu'ah khutbah on the mimbar. So as this announcement comes, whatever is said here, don't deduct fiqhi masail from this. It's not a fiqh and jurisprudence discussion. This is just a narrative of the transmission and what transpired in the seerah of the Hajj of Nabi alayhi salam. So as the khutbah is delivered, one sahabi stands up, Aqra' bin Habis radiyallahu anhu, an elder, older sahabi, and he says, O Nabi of Allah, afi kulli aam, should we make Hajj every year? Don't stand up next week, Friday, in the khutbah, please, and ask the Imam. That's what I'm trying to say. Okay. So he says, afi kulli aam ya Rasulallah, must we make Hajj every year? So Nabi alayhi salam remains silent, and he says to him, إنما هلك من كان قبلكم بكثرة سؤالهم واختلافهم على أنبيائهم. The nations before you, they were only destroyed because they asked too many questions. Like if the amount of WhatsApp groups were there in that time, can you imagine the response? The nitpicking, the Monday morning flurry of things on the group after the weekend socializing. Saturday night we were there, we heard this. I heard that's haram. I heard that. What do you think? إنما هلك من كان قبلكم بكثرة سؤالهم. We need to know. We should be informed. We should do the right thing. Nabi alayhi salam says, Aqra, I remained silent and did not reply because if I had to say yes, lawajabat, then Hajj would have become obligatory on you every year. I remained silent just so that you, my ummah, I have mercy on you, that Hajj is only obligatory on you once in a lifetime. Man istata'a ilayhi sabila. And if you have the means and the asbab to go, Hajj is obligatory on you. So he sits down. Then Nabi alayhi salam starts telling Sahaba about Hajj. Just picture the scene. These are people, some of them, they might have lived in Makkah, but they saw an image of Hajj with the mushrikun. There were others in Medina and many hundreds of thousands or thousands who had come into Islam, but they have no idea about this Hajj. Nothing. They have no idea, no clue. You and I, people going for Hajj, those going for the first time, you've never been for Umrah, Hajj is very intimidating. What is this Hajj about? What do we do? Sahaba were feeling this level of anxiety that what is Hajj? They are familiar with Salah, they're familiar with Zakah, they're familiar with other A'mal. But with Hajj, They have no familiarity. Nabi alayhi salam tells them about the miqat. What are the boundaries? What boundaries beyond which you need to wear ihram? Nabi alayhi salam starts describing to them. Ulama have written that the miqat was set in the time of Ibrahim alayhi salam, at the time that the Baytullah was built. Can you imagine from that time until now, we know those designated areas? But Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Jibreel alayhi salam came and he designated the areas, and he told Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam that the people of Yemen, this is their boundary. They will come from Yalamlam, this is their boundary. The people of Sham, they will come from Juhfa, this is their boundary. And like this, each one of these boundaries were refreshed in that sense. Nabi alayhi salam explains this to Sahaba. Then he starts telling them about ihram. What is ihram? La talbasul qamis. That don't wear shirts, anything which is sewn, don't wear that. Wala sarawil, don't wear trousers. Wala al-burnus. What's a burnus? A burnus is the head gear covering that we wear on our heads. This hadith of Bukhari says Nabi alayhi salam told them, don't wear a hat on your head. Why tell them about something if they weren't doing it? Why tell them about something if they were not doing it? That means it was a practice that people were wearing headgear on their head. There's sufficient riwayat to cover the head. To cover the head. Wala al-imama. Don't wear an imama in ihram. Wala al-khifaf. Don't wear socks or foot gear. Don't wear shoes. Il tajid al-na'layn. If you find shoes, foot gear, then don't wear it. If you find foot gear, then cut it taht al-ka'bayn, beneath your ankle. Can you see the whole gear of what to wear in ihram is being explained? Nabi alayhi salam explains to Sahaba this on this Friday. People leave the masjid after Jumu'ah, and everybody is now in preparation that they are now about to depart. Nabi alayhi salam has told them, and everybody goes in preparation. Madinah is a flurry of activity. People are getting conveyances, sleeping, food, all this. The next day comes Saturday, the 25th of Dhul Qa'dah. In this 25th of Dhul Qa'dah, at the time of Dhahar Salah is prayed in Masjid al-Nabawi. Nabi alayhi salatu wassalam announces to Sahaba that we are now leaving. And everybody starts leaving Medina. People are preparing. And as they leave Medina, women, young, old, the entire Medina is just about to be emptied. Women who are pregnant, who are on the verge of birth, people who don't have conveyance and walking on foot. And they go from there to Dhul Hulayfa. Those who have been for Hajj, Umrah, may Allah take us all often, over and over. They get to Dhul Hulayfa. One of the wisdom, when you these days you go by train, you miss it. You go by bus or taxi. If taxi, you're lucky, you might stop. We just hesitant to get to Makkah. And then sometimes the question comes in the mind, why stop here? Why not just wear your ihram in your hotel room in the convenience there? You're going to drive 10, 15 minutes, then you're going to get off again and start the whole exercise. The wisdom and the hikmah ulama have written was Nabi alayhi salam stopped at Bir Ali at Dhul Hulayfa to give people the opportunity to come and to meet there and congregate at one point. Can you imagine? By some estimates, there were 100,000 people. Not all of them emerged from Medina or traveled from Medina. But even if it was half of them, 50,000 residents of Medina having to leave. I mean, if it was Perth, Allah help us in the airport. 50,000 people leaving. Nabi alayhi salam congregated in Dhul Hulayfa just so that people could come and they could catch up, and they come and they congregate and start getting organized. That was the purpose of stopping in Dhul Hulayfa. So Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam goes and he settles in Dhul Hulayfa. Before leaving, he appoints one Sahabi in charge of Medina, Abu Dujana radiallahu anhu. Abu Dujana radiallahu anhu is appointed as the Amir of Medina. There was a lesson in this. Again, why appoint him? Why put him in charge? Whenever Nabi alayhi salam left, he would appoint various people. Medina needed some leadership. You cannot have any place where there is some social construct that you don't have leadership that's giving proper guidance. Medina was never left unattended. Abu Dujana is appointed. Why Abu Dujana? He is a Sahabi who accepted Islam early. Leadership is not artificial. It's not a position. It's not experience that you work your way up towards and then you cling on to that position. It might be in the corporate world, the definition of leadership might sound something like that. But in the world of Islam, in the world of deen, organizations, Islamic institutions, madrasas, masajid, these are not positions that people are voted into. There's a criteria for this. Abu Dujana is the epitome and the representation of that criteria. He accepted Islam early. He was in Badr, he was in Uhud, he was in Khandaq, he was in Muta, he was in every single battle with Nabi alayhi salam. In his entire life, he did not miss the company of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam. If we want leadership of these places, then there is a tarbiyah, there's a nurturing. We need to understand the manhaj. We have to understand the outlook of deen and the ummah and leadership in our deen so we can carry the ummah forward, not occupy a position that stagnates the ummah. Abu Dujana is a strategic appointment by Nabi alayhi salam. In fact, the same Abu Dujana, when he took the leadership of Medina, it was neither there that, imagine, Nabi alayhi salam is the Nabi of Allah and he says, you are now in charge. Imagine you have that on your CV. Appointed as Amir of Medina when Nabi alayhi salam was not here. Like, can you imagine what that does to your CV? It's like, that's it. But he didn't rest on it. It's like, okay, I've now become, what else is there left in life to achieve? When Nabi alayhi salam passed away, in the era of Sayyidina Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu, the battle of Yamama against Musaylama Kadhab took place. Many of us are aware, Musaylama the liar, he emerged. And he was the first liar prophet that emerged, Musaylama. Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu sent Sahaba, and it was an intense battle, this battle of Yamama. Banu Hanifa, the tribe whom they were warring and Musaylama was part of, they were known for their warring and their fighting skill. And so there were many reinforcements that needed to be sent, including Khalid bin Walid radiallahu anhu. And these Sahaba come and they surround this fort. The forces of Musaylama, they had retreated into the fort and they shut the door. Nobody could get in for months. That's how secure this fort was. Eventually, after surrounding this fort, after the battle as they retreated into the fort, Abu Dujana radiallahu anhu comes to Khalid bin Walid. He says, Khalid, there's only one way we're getting in here. Who's coming? The former Amir of Medina. He didn't come there and say that, Khalid, listen, there's all these people here. Let's tell them to do X, Y, Z. He said, Khalid, I'm bringing myself forward. Put me in the catapult. Fling me over the wall. I will fall over and open the door. I might become martyred, but at least the gates of the fort are open and you can enter and the Ummah can be victorious and kill Musaylama. Sayyidina Khalid bin Walid agreed to this. Abu Dujana sat in the catapult. He was flung over the wall. He opened the doors. He became injured. He was martyred in the battle of Yamama. The Muslims entered. Musaylama was killed. This is the spirit of this Ummah. It's not some entertainment that I am the president, I am the treasurer, and we are just stagnating the Ummah. The Ummah requires leadership like this. So Abu Dujana radiallahu anhu, Nabi alayhi salam appoints him. and now they leave Medina. We can say that Medina is in safe hands. Earlier today, I messaged one of our elders here in the Masjid, and I said to them, maybe we should do this program over 2 weeks. 2 Saturday nights instead of one. I think one is going to be a bit short. And looking at 50 minutes finish, and we have barely left Medina. We still have to get to Makkah and then still come back. This is a very long journey. So Abu Dujana radiallahu anhu is appointed. Nabi alayhi salam gets to Dhul Hulayfa, and they spend the night in Dhul Hulayfa. During that night in Dhul Hulayfa, Asma bint Umays radiallahu anha, she is the wife of Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu. Asma bint Umays, she was heavily pregnant on the verge of birth. She was prior married to Ja'far bin Abi Talib. Ja'far bin Abi Talib is the brother of Sayyidina Ali radiallahu anhu. From the first group of migrants who migrated to Habasha was Ja'far bin Abi Talib. His wife at that time was the same Asma bint Umays. She traveled with him to Habasha, to Abyssinia. She gave birth to 3 sons there. Abdullah, Aun, and Muhammad, the sons of Ja'far bin Abi Talib. They were born where? In Africa. Where were they born? In Islam is not foreign to Africa. It has a greater heritage there than many other parts that found Islam much later. These Sahaba, they were born in Africa. And there were other Sahaba who were born there too. These were the 3 known ones of Ja'far bin Abi Talib. They were born there. Asma bint Umaysh, she gives birth in Dhul Hulayfa. To who? To the son of Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu, to whom she's married now. This child is brought to Nabi alayhi salam, and the name of this child is kept Muhammad bin Abi Bakr. When we keep names, Nabi alayhi salam said that when you have children, then name them after the Anbiya and the Sahaba, the pious, the Salihin. If you have to look statistically at Imams and Sheikhs around Perth, they'll ask you probably in the top 10 questions that they get, Sheikh, my wife's about to give birth, please give me a unique name. Give me a name that no one has. Or and then they send you a list and you don't know which way to look at the name. This way or that. What language? Where do you find it? No, I Googled it. Where did it come? It's a Turkish name. From where? From the latest Turkish series. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. So he's named Muhammad bin Abi Bakr after Rasulullah Dhul Hulayfa. In any case, Nabi alayhi salatu wassalam, that night makes Salah. Jibreel alayhi salam comes. And he says, "Oh Muhammad, salli fi hadha al-wadi al-mubarak." That reads Salah in this blessed valley here, in Dhul Hulayfa. Why I'm mentioning this is because we often get on the train and then we just bypass. Maybe somebody tells you, maybe they don't, you don't even see it. This valley is known as Wadi al-Aqiq. This Wadi and Valley of Aqiq. Today the pure water of Medina, the entire water of Medina comes from this valley. It was a pure, fresh place. Many Sahaba used to reside there in this Wadi al-Aqiq. So Jibreel came to Nabi alayhi salam and said that, "Oh Nabi of Allah, Allah has instructed you to make Salah in this valley." Nabi alayhi salam makes 2 rakats of Salah in this Wadi al-Aqiq in Dhul Hulayfa. The next day, Dhahar time, Rasulullah sallallahu emerges and he wears his ihram. And he's sitting on his conveyance and he's sitting on his camel. This camel the camel's name was Qaswa. Like we have Qaswa House, Ustaz Aziz, may Allah bless them. And some riwayat say that the name of the camel was Adba. Whether it was 2 or 1 camel, riwayat differ. But nonetheless, Nabi alayhi salam sits on this camel and then he utters his niyyah and his intention for Hajj. Allahumma hajjatan la riya'a fihi wa la sum'atan. An amazing intention. Wallah, a Hajj la riya'a fihi. There's no showmanship, wa la sum'atan, and there's no popularity or fame that comes with it. You know what this means in our language? Wallah, this is a Hajj which is not happening in a name brand 6-star hotel. This is not a Hajj that I'm going to come back and tell everyone, you know, in Muzdalifah we had turf in the Australian camp. Many of us been for Hajj? Any of us been for Hajj? Some of us, inshallah, have been. When we went for Hajj the last time in Australian camp, when we came to Muzdalifah, many of you can testify to this. We came quite late, everybody was already there. We came, somebody waiting at Muzdalifah, say everything else, other conveniences are different. But Muzdalifah, you're supposed to have, you know, camping out in the bush, out in the desert. We came there, that's what we're expecting. Somebody standing at the gate, cordoned off the Australian camp. As we entered, they put one bag of stones in our hand. This is for your pelting. Then you walk further, all the fridges are there with water. The turf is there. You just go, they give you a pillow and a mattress as you come in. You walk further, there's an ice cream fridge. La riya'a fihi wa la sum'ah. Nabi alayhi salam said the best Hajj is that Hajj ash'ath aghbar. The one who is the most disheveled, the most difficult. That is the Hajj which is the closest to being a Hajj Mabrur. That Hajj. Not, they did give us food, we didn't get this, we paid for this, but they didn't give us. You know, the agents, they're just there to make money. I'm just regurgitating all what's generally in the minds and the tongues. Nabi alayhi salam said there, Hajjatan la riya'a fihi wa la sum'ah. Oh Allah, this, we're not doing it for anyone. We're not showing anyone. I don't need special attention. No one needs to look after me, to give way for me. Wala sum'atan. And Nabi alayhi salam is sitting. Imagine Imamul Anbiya on this kind of a Hajj. Sahaba see this, and now they emerge from Dhul Hulayfa and they leave. And as they leaving, Jabir radiallahu anhu, Imam Muslim mentions that he describes the scene. He said, I said there, Madda Basari, that as far as my eye could see in the front, on the left, on the right, I could just see throngs of people, hundreds, as far as my eye could see. There were only people, that's it, that's all I could see. Anas radiallahu anhu said that I was traveling with Abu Talha. Abu Talha is his stepfather. He said that I was on my camel and we were so close to the camel of Nabi alayhi salam that almost that we were hitting the side of the camel of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And all I heard was Labbaik, Allahumma Labbaik, Labbaik la sharika laka Labbaik. And that's all I'm hearing coming out from the mouth of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Jibreel alayhi salam descends and he says, O Nabi of Allah, that muru ashabakum falyarfa'u aswatahum bit-talbiyah. That tell your Sahaba, instruct them that they must raise their voices in talbiyah. Tell the men that they must raise their voices in talbiyah. Can you imagine this scene? Sahaba in the middle of the desert, everybody in ihram, Imamul Anbiya, the Muallim of the Hajj, is leading this Hajj, and the talbiyah is flowing from the mouths of Sahaba. Jabir radiallahu anhu said that we were going in this Hajj, and as we walking, Nabi alayhi salam is reading ayat of Quran and he's explaining to us the meanings of this. Now, can you imagine a muallim like this? Just stay, and Sahaba and every person only fixated on one thing and fixated on going for Hajj. And as they're going along, Nabi alayhi salatu wassalam, one amazing thing happens. When we're in Hajj, we are never individuals who are going for Hajj. It's not me and you and us that we just carrying out one journey. But this is a Hajj that is in the footsteps of the Anbiya alayhimus salam. Every single Nabi made Hajj. They're going through the desert. Nabi alayhi salam says, Abu Bakr, ayyu wadin hada? Which valley are we passing through? Where are we now? This consumerist Hajj and Umrah has made us void of the ruhani of this journey. The coffee shop culture that is now there as it is here has made us bereft of the ruhani and spirituality. The mall culture, progress is one thing, but turning a'mal, noble actions, purely just to have a consumerist nature at the core of it is something else altogether. Nabi alayhi salam asking Abu Bakr, which valley are we in? O Nabi of Allah, we are passing in this valley. Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu, Nabi alayhi salam says, Abu Bakr, لَقَدْ مَرَّ مِنْ هَذَا سَبْعُونَ نَبِيًّا مِنَ الْأَنْبِيَاءِ 70 Anbiya passed on exactly this place that we are. They go a little further. Abu Bakr, where are we now? Wadi Harsha. O Nabi of Allah, we are in the valley of Harsha. لَقَدْ مَرَّ بِهَذَا الْوَادِي يُونُسُ بْنُ مَتَّى. In this valley, Yunus alayhi salam, when he went for Hajj, he passed through this valley. Abu Bakr, which valley are we in now? Wadi Zarqa, Wadi Azraq. كَأَنِّي أَنظُرُ إِلَى Moosa. That it is as though I'm seeing Musa alayhi salam وَاضِعًا أُسْبُعَيْهِ فِي أُذُنَيْهِ. That Musa alayhi salam, his fingers are in his ear and he's calling the talbiyah, labbaik, Allahumma labbaik. Where are we now, O Abu Bakr? We in this valley. لَقَدْ رَأَيْتُ نُوحًا وَهُودًا وَصَالِحًا. Anbiya, they passing through this. And then Nabi alayhi salam says, Abu Bakr and my Sahaba, listen. In this same Wadi Harsha, لَيُلْهِيَنَّ عِيسَى بْنُ مَرْيَمَ. That Isa alayhi salam will come and he will make Hajj and he will pass through these exact valleys and these exact pathways. And he will also go and make Hajj. Those individuals somewhere sitting on some social media, individualistic, modernistic platforms that say that Isa alayhi salam is not coming back, don't listen to it. The Anbiya and the Ahadith are filled with this. It is an ijma'i, unanimous position, the return of Isa alayhi salam, the coming of Imam Mahdi. So, Nabi alayhi salam tells Sahaba all of this and they're going along. Now in the interest of time and trying just to move a bit forward, inshallah, during this journey, many things transpired. An 8-day journey between Medina and the arrival to Makkah. An 8-day journey. That is a lifetime. We fly from Medina to Jeddah or probably in an hour. If you go by car or train, it's 2 hours. This journey is 8 days. Many things transpire, many incidences. I'll be selective on some of them. One person comes, Nabi alayhi salam is walking and they are on their transport on the camel. And Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam hears one man saying that I'm making Hajj, ahujju an Shubruma. I'm making Hajj on behalf of Shubruma. So Nabi says, Man Shubruma, who's this person that you are saying that you're making Hajj on their behalf? So he says, well, he's my relative and I'm making Hajj on his behalf. Nabi said, Hal hajjajta an nafsik? Did you make Hajj on your behalf? He said, no. He said, well, first make Hajj on your behalf, then make Hajj on behalf of somebody else. Abu Taliq is Sahabi, he comes to Nabi alayhi salam. Listen to this incident, amazing. So he comes to Nabi alayhi salam, he says, O Nabi of Allah, you know, before we left Medina, my wife came to me and she said to me, she came to me and she said to me, can you borrow me a camel of yours that I want to use it to go for Hajj? Because everybody wants to go for Hajj with Rasulullah. So she comes to him, he's telling Nabi alayhi salam, yeah, en route, that she told me to give me one camel. I only had 2. One I was using for Hajj and one I had given for the path of Allah. Like I had given this camel that it will only be used for reasons of deen and religious reasons. So I told her, I don't have a camel. I can't give you. So she said to me, okay, give me money to go for Hajj. I said, I don't have. I only have enough for me. Husband and wife, this money story is it's timeless. She said, I don't have money for you. So she said, well, what you do is, you don't forget. See, even this is timeless. She's giving me an instruction. When you're going for Hajj, you tell Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam what you said, what I asked, and what you replied. You go and tell him everything. Like you go to Sheikh and you repeat everything what happened there. So he said, oh Nabi Allah, I'm coming. See, he listened to his wife, right? That's why that's why we know the incident. So it's also a sunnah to listen to your wife. So he said he went there innocently, is narrating this whole story. So Nabi alayhi salam told him, Abu Tariq, you see your wife? She was right. You should have given her that other camel that you said is for the path of Allah, because for indeed Hajj is something which is being used for the path of Allah. And you should have given her the money also, what she wanted. You should have given her that, because any money that you spent, Allah would have given you back more than that, what you gave to her for Hajj. To pay for your wife's ticket for Hajj and to give her spending in Hajj is a sunnah. Abu Dujana was so regretful that he didn't give his wife these means to join him for Hajj. He said, oh Nabi of Allah, what? Just think of this. This is the only Hajj of Rasulullah, no other Hajj. He was so regretful that I'm the cause. Nobody knew at that time that there won't be another Hajj, but I'm the cause that my wife could not come for Hajj with Rasulullah. He was so regretful of this. So he said, oh Nabi, what can I do to compensate? What can we do that my wife will get the reward of making a Hajj with you? What can she do to get the reward of making a Hajj with you? Nabi alayhi salam replied in 3 words, Umratan fi Ramadan. Make Umrah in Ramadan, O Abu Talib. Take your wife for Umrah in Ramadan. She will get the reward of making Hajj with me. The journey continues. And as they're going along, Nabi alayhi salam asked one question. Ayn al-mufarridun? So who are the mufarridun? The mufarridun, some of us have a vested interest in knowing this. So who are the mufarridun? Whenever groups used to travel, they used to be, when you travel, it's all kinds of people. You go to the airport, right? There's like normal people. They come with one bag. And then there's us. Who's us? I'm just grouping all of us together. It's 5 bags. They're all overweight. Somebody's got one bag in their hand, got luggage on the top. So it's like wherever you can put it, and then you're in a low-cost airline, you hope they don't wear your hand luggage. So all these things going on. It's like 2 kinds of people who travel. The mufarridun were the first kind. They didn't have their families and 10,000 kilos along with them. So their conveyances were light. They would travel fast and, slip through customs and everything, nothing to check. So they'd be ahead. So Nabi alayhi salam, Ayn al-mufarridun? Where are the individual ones? And in some narrations, Ayn as-sabiqun? Where are those who went ahead? Because they naturally were light and they would go far ahead. So Sahaba said, Sabaq al-mufarridun, that those who were alone, they didn't have all this weight and things with them, and they are gone far ahead. Nabi alayhi salam told them, let me tell you that who are the real mufarridun? Who are the sabiqun? Rasulullah said, Al-dhakirun Allah kathiran wal-dhakirat. That those who make dhikr of Allah excessively, they are the ones who Allah will lift their burdens on the day of Qiyamah. You might be going through customs easily and all these type of things, but the reality is, who will progress the fastest is that those who they have dhikr on the tongue, on their tongues all the time. And that's why this group, we know that the dhikr, sabaq al-mufarridun, this incident transpired during the journey of Hajj, when Nabi alayhi salam said to this group of people that sabaq al-mufarridun, that those who have dhikr, they have gone far ahead. Then Nabi alayhi salatu wassalam, one matter occurred. As they traveling, somebody came to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam and they said, "Oh Nabi Allah, stop, emergency." What happened? During this journey of Hajj, all 9 wives of Nabi alayhi salam traveled with. All 9. If somebody thinks, like any person who took their wife and went for Hajj, they come back saying, "My next Hajj, I'm going alone to do it properly." Like this one here is just disturbed. Going back to do this real one properly, ibadah, everything. Nabi Aslam took all 9 wives. So can you imagine leading the ummah on Hajj, the only Hajj, and all 9 wives with? One person comes to us, "Oh Nabi Allah, major issue." What happened? Safiya radiallahu anha, Ummul Mu'mineen, her camel broke down. It doesn't want to move. It's just there, the back, it's lingering. She's there, everybody's gone ahead. So Nabi alayhi salam makes it. This is a caravan of how many thousands of people? So they make their way back. Nabi alayhi salam makes his way back. And he comes there. And Safiya radiallahu anha is there on her camel and it's not moving. So she sees Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And there's tears by her eyes. And as she sees Nabi alayhi salam, she starts crying more. So Nabi alayhi salam sees her and she's crying. "Safiya, are you okay? Can you travel still?" She says, "Oh Nabi of Allah, I can't travel today." Nabi alayhi salam sends the message, "Tell everyone that we are making an unscheduled stop here and now." This was known as Yom Safiya. Became known as the day of Safiya. That this stop was unscheduled just because one woman, wife, could not do something, was emotionally entangled. Nabi alayhi salam stopped the entire Hajj only for her. Everyone stopped. Safiya radiallahu anha, everybody stops, they set up camp. So they put up her tent, Safiya radiallahu anha. And she's sitting in the tent. I know it's long. If anybody wants to leave, inshallah, without any formality, please feel free. Safiya radiallahu anha, she's sitting in the tent. And Nabi alayhi salam is going to come and see her. She goes to Aisha radiallahu anha. There used to be lots of co-wife rivalry from among the wives of Nabi alayhi salam. There were different camps, and some other time we'll discuss it. So Safiya radiallahu anha, she's in her tent and now she's thinking, I don't know, Rasulullah is going to be very angry with me. The whole ummah has to stop because of me. It's like your wife forgot the hand luggage at home. Khalas. That's it. Qiyamah. Missed the flight. What's going to happen next? As they say, that's how the fight started. So Nabi alayhi salam goes. So Safiya comes out. She goes to Aisha radiallahu anha. She says, Aisha, and they were two, had extreme rivalry between them for the attention of Rasulullah. She said, Aisha, you know that I would never sacrifice my day for yours, isn't it? She said, of course. Okay, but today I have one favor. I'm giving you my day. You go in the tent. You just make Nabi alayhi salam happy and tell him to be happy with me. That's all I want from you. So Aisha radiallahu anha gladly takes that. She goes there in the tent. Nabi alayhi salam comes in and says, Aisha, where you came from? Aisha radiallahu anha just smiles. ذَلِكَ فَضْلُ اللَّهِ يُؤْتِيهِ مَن يَشَاءُ. that this is a bounty of Allah. Allah gave me this day. Don't ask too many questions, O Nabi of Allah. That's what she implied. Then this incident is still not finished. This camel story is still going on. It's like this whole woman's story is just going on in this Hajj. So Nabi alayhi salam now has to find another ticket for Safiya. Missed the flight, another camel is needed. So Nabi alayhi salam goes to Zainab radiallahu anha. Zainab radiallahu anha, from the Ummahatul Mu'mineen, was a wealthy woman. She would do business and trade. So she had multiple camels with her. You know, someone sitting in business first class. Zainab radiallahu anha, Nabi alayhi salam says to her, can you give us one camel? We'll give it to Safiya. So Nabi alayhi salam, Safiya, Zainab radiallahu anha said, something overcame her. This is called ghayra. It was like she said, it's what we call spousal jealousy. This is like hasad. We all know hasad, but hasad is motivated for other reasons. It's just jealousy motivated by other things. Ghayra is got to do with you protecting a right which Allah has given exclusively to you. Someone's spouse is the exclusive right. And it's a very noble quality that a person should have. Like someone, na'udhu Allah forbid, someone talking to someone's wife, and if they don't get upset about it, there's something wrong with them. It's a fitrah Allah has kept in a person. When a wife doesn't get jealous of a husband, there's something wrong. This society normalizes this madness. We just professional colleagues. It's just an innocent talk. You don't trust me, therefore that's why you are overly obsessive. This ghayra is lost in this society. That's why it's a reality. The Sahaba and Sahabiya, they had this. You know, Asma bint Abi Bakr, the daughter of Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu, she was married to Zubayr bin Awam. So one day in the early years in Medina, they were very poor. Zubayr bin Awam radiallahu anhu. Asma was married to him, and they never had any conveyance, any food. She used to walk 3 to 5 miles to go and fetch water and animal fodder, because her husband used to be busy earning for them, and to look after the household matters, she had to look after this herself. So she used to walk and she used to carry the water on her head in the early days in Medina. So one day she said, I was coming back. I saw Nabi alayhi salam with Sahaba, they were passing by, and I'm carrying this thing on my head and I'm walking. And as I'm going, Nabi alayhi salam sees me, so he comes near me, he gets off the camel silently, puts it near me, makes it kneel, indicating that I should get on without any verbal communication. A woman carrying water, weight, in the desert, in the heat, carrying this arduous task, and she says, at this moment, I'm thinking of the ghayra of my husband. That my husband is so possessive of me and jealous of me. She says, I'm thinking of this, and then I'm thinking that this is Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and this is public, the Sahaba who are there, and my hardship. She said, but still, I just didn't say anything and continued walking. And I left this. I came home. That evening, I told Zubayr, my husband, radiallahu anhu, that this is what happened. And I knew your spousal jealousy, therefore I did not do it. He said to her, Wallahi, by the oath of Allah, that my wife Asma, that I have more ghayra, that you are walking in public with that on your head. You don't understand that I would have preferred that you go on that conveyance than walk in public with that on your head. This is spousal jealousy. Can you see both reciprocated? Wife is aware that she should protect herself for her husband and how he feels jealous over her. And he saying the same to her, that I have so much ghayra that you have to walk around in public and people have to see you. Like in this environment, can we even discuss, if somebody has to say, should a woman be in a public place or not? Should they be covered appropriately? Should they talk with someone who is foreign to them? We have become so immune to all of this because of the disease environment that we live in, that we cannot even talk about segregation. We cannot talk about dressing and covering properly, let alone somebody say and make a statement that a woman, the better place is that she should not be in public. Let alone we even reach that conversation. So Zainab radiallahu anha, coming back to that conversation, Zainab radiallahu anha said that why should I give it to her? Why must I give Safiya a camel of mine? Safiya radiallahu anha, her heritage was Jewish. She had Safiya bint Huyay, and she came from the Jewish tribes of Madinah when they were conquered. So Zainab radiallahu anha said that why should I give a camel to that Jew woman? Na'udhu billah. That's what she said. Nabi alayhi salam became so disturbed on this. He became so upset on this that just becoming what we will term as using a person's background, nationality, or some form of racial reference, when Nabi alayhi salam did not speak to her for that entire journey, became so upset with the statement. Nonetheless, the journey continued. I'll end on this last matter. It has become a bit long, just related to one more matter. As they travel and they come to Makkah, as they're entering Makkah Mukarramah, Maqam Sarif, many of us might be familiar with it, the place where Maymuna radiallahu anha lies buried today. When you're leaving Makkah Mukarramah, just on the outskirts, a little compound area, Maymuna radiallahu anha, the wife of Nabi alayhi salam. An amazing thing. Maymuna radiallahu anha married Rasulullah on that same place. On the journey back from Umrah, Nabi alayhi salam spent his first time intimate with her on that location. And later on, en route to another journey, after the demise of Nabi alayhi salam, she passed away on that very same spot. On the spot in Maqam Sarif, Aisha radiallahu anha, Nabi alayhi salam goes into the tent. And Aisha radiallahu anha is crying. Can you see what's going on here? Everywhere is just like I'm mentioning this for a reason, because Hajj is about taking care of your wife en route. To see that your wife is sitting properly and comfortable in the taxi, train or aeroplane is a sunnah. When the wives were traveling, Anjasha radiallahu anhu, he was in charge of taking the camels of all the wives. He was the lead. And he had a very melodious voice. And he used to sing so the camels move smoothly in the desert. So Nabi alayhi salam told him, he heard him sing and the camels were getting excited with his voice and they were going fast. Nabi alayhi salam said, Ruwaydan bil qawarir, that Anjasha, that be very careful with this delicate glass, this crystal glass. Nabi alayhi salam gave and expressed a woman like a crystal glass. What happens when you drop crystal? It's sensitive, it's smooth. When you drop it, it shatters in a million pieces. Other glass may break a little, but crystal, it shatters. Nabi alayhi salam depicted a woman like that of crystal to Anjasha. That Anjasha, be careful of these wives who are like crystal. Don't sing a lot so the camels travel very slowly. To see that your wife is comfortable in Hajj, this is the sunnah of Nabi alayhi salam. So he enters the tent. Aisha radiallahu anha is crying. Aisha, what's wrong? She's not speaking. Aisha, what's wrong? She's not speaking. Sometimes this is also a sunnah. See, this can just, like this is a whole subject on its own. Like to know what your wife is thinking is also a sunnah. To try and figure it out. Then Rasulullah said, لَعَلَّكِ نُفِسْتِ. Maybe Aisha, you're experiencing your monthly menstrual period. She starts crying more. Anybody who has been for Hajj or is going for Hajj or has been for Hajj will know, if they've gone with their spouses, one of the greatest concerns of a woman is that going for Hajj and then this menstrual period occurs, it causes a whole lot of issues. Aisha radiallahu anha, this happens. So Nabi alayhi salam pacifies her. He didn't say, Aisha, you see, now we need to change the tickets. Now there's going to be this and there's that. إن الله إن هذا شيء قد كتبه الله على بنات آدم. That Aisha, this what you are experiencing, this monthly matter, this is a natural thing that Allah has made for women. This is natural. You don't have to do anything about it. Don't stop it. Don't change it. Don't do anything. I'm not giving a fiqh masala here. Don't do anything. Don't be concerned about it. This is natural that it occurs. It doesn't cause a disruption in your Hajj at all, except that you can't make tawaf of the Baytullah. When you become pure, then you will do that tawaf and your entire Hajj, the rest of it you can do as is. Nabi alayhi salam tells this in Maqam Sarif to Sayyidina Aisha radiallahu anha. And as they are there in Maqam Sarif, just before that, one of the helpers of Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu comes to him. I am mentioning this just to take valuable lesson very quickly. He comes to Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu. They all settle down. Who's sitting there? Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu, Nabi alayhi salam, Asma radiallahu anha, the daughter of Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu and his wife. So Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu says, bring the food. You're traveling, you're hungry. So the helper, the person in charge of the camel comes and he says, the food camel is lost. It's like the food bag, whatever it is. Can you imagine? It's like in the plane, you ordered that meal and they come and tell you, sorry, we don't have you listed for Muslim meal. What do you mean? I'm flying 10 hours, I ordered it, my agent ordered it, and I'm going to, I don't know, it's going to have a bad flight from you, isn't it? They'll tell you, can we give you bread and butter? And you're thinking, see. So Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu gets very angry, extremely angry. And he stands up and he wants to physically do something to this employee helper. Abu Bakr, Nabi alayhi salam is sitting there and he's laughing and he's smiling and he's telling the daughters of Abu Bakr, Undur ila hadha al-muhrim. Look how he's behaving. It's like when you see someone in ihram and they're angry, it's just like a different sight, isn't it? So Nabi alayhi salam is smiling and he's like, Abu Bakr, sit down. You can't do anything about it. The camel is lost. Whatever is meant to happen, it will happen. So they resting and they're sitting and there's no food. After a little while, one Sahabi comes, he says, O Nabi of Allah, Sa'ad bin Ubadah radiallahu anhu. He's one of the chiefs of Madinah. He comes to Nabi alayhi salam, he says, O Nabi of Allah, I heard that your food camel is lost. Can we bring food for you and give you and Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu in your group? So Nabi alayhi salam looks at him and says, Ya Aba Thabit, that, oh Abu Thabit, from the day that we came to Medina, you have given us everything. You Ansar of Medina, you've given us everything. What more can we ask? That even on this journey, you are coming to ask and to offer us. So Sa'ad bin Ubadah radiallahu anhu, he didn't say, oh Nabi of Allah, you're right. We really gave you a lot. Now how much more do we need to do for you? He said that, oh Nabi of Allah, Wallahi, the wealth that we gave to you is better than that which we kept back for us. Nabi Hassan became so happy. He said that, Sa'ad, Inna hada al-akhlaq minnatun min Allah. That akhlaq and character, it is a favor that Allah gives to a person. And whoever Allah bestows it with, it's a ni'mah that Allah has given them. That Sa'ad, you are from those whom Allah has bestowed with a great and a noble akhlaq. In Hajj, it is a test of character. It is a test of many things. And these Sahaba radiallahu anhum, just in these few incidences, there's so many of this that have become displayed. Inshallah, next week we'll continue from Maqam Sarif. If you have the himmah and I have the courage, inshallah, next week we'll try and do it a bit shorter. And inshallah, try and cover other aspects of this Hajj. May Allah give us tawfiq and understanding. Jazakumullah khair for sitting and sitting through this time. Sallallahu ala Sayyidina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Alhamdulillah.